Well, hey folks, and welcome to Solarcabin channel. You know, I've been off-grid now for over 20 years. Many of you have been following my channel for many of those years. And it's not often that I've come across a product that works so well for off-gridders that I give it my outstanding review. One of those products has been the EcoTemp L5 propane water heater, which I've talked about a lot in my videos, that I use here at my cabin and have for over 15 years. I've been using the same EcoTemp L5 water heater. It is that good of a product. It has never given me a one little bit of problems and just works excellent. The other product that I can now put my stamp of approval on for off-gridders that I think is going to be an outstanding off-grid product and has also been used by a lot of overlanders, van dwellers, and campers, or people that just need an emergency refrigerator freezer for a blackout situation, something like that, is this unit right here. This is the Alpicool C20 refrigerator freezer. Now this uses a Danfoss type compressor. It is not made by Danfoss, but the compressor is the same type as a Danfoss compressor made in China. Now, I did a review of this unit when I first got it over 2 years ago. I got mine in March of 2019. I did a basic review of it then. It has now been over 2 years. I've been using this 24/7 all the time, full-time off-grid at my cabin. Now, this is a C20 unit. It is called C20 because it is 20 liters. They make several models of different sizes. This is one of their smaller units I got. They didn't have a lot of variety back when they first started. I got one of the first units, and I was the first one on YouTube to do a review video of the Alpicool refrigerator. Since then, a lot of off-gridders and a lot of people who need them for like traveling, truckers use them a lot, people that are off-grid, van dwellers and that, have purchased these and done their own video reviews of them, but I was the first. And now I'm giving you a 2-year review of this Alpicool brand refrigerator freezer. Now, a thing to know about this is a true refrigerator freezer. This will freeze your food solid if you set it that low. Now, the way most of us use it for these smaller units is you can set it so that it will keep the stuff that's on the bottom frozen for quite a bit of time and use it as a refrigerator on top. So it works as kind of a dual purpose refrigerator freezer, and all you need to do is remember that you want to put your stuff that you want really cold and frozen on the bottom where it gets colder, and stuff that you want like your salads and stuff like that you don't want frozen up at the top. Now, they have come out with why I'm doing this video is they've come out with, now they've got dual compartment Alpicool refrigerator freezers, and I'm hoping to get one of those so I can do a comparison. Those units have a refrigerator, which is like this unit here, about this size, and then they have a separate unit in a separate compartment that is just a freezer. Now that's real nice because then you can have your frozen stuff separate from your stuff that you want in your refrigerator, and generally you use a lot more of your refrigerator than you do for your freezer, and you're in and out of your refrigerator a lot more than you are of your freezer, so you have more storage capacity for using both. Now the C20, one of the things that I really like about it is they are really well insulated, and I think that is the key. Along with having this Danfoss type compressor, which is just an excellent compressor, these things are well insulated. You can see how thick the lid is on this one, and the side walls are really thick on this one here. They're a good 1.5 inches thick of insulation. That really makes a difference, and because it's a chest type freezer, the cold settles in these, so it will settle down to the bottom, so you're not leaking out cold every time you open up the lid. With a standard refrigerator, every time you open the door on the freezer or the refrigerator, it dumps out the cold air. Then it has to run the compressor again in order to bring it back down to the temperature in order to keep the fridge and food fresh. Now, with these compressors, these use they don't use any toxic chemicals in the compressor, and it works in a way that it pulls the warm air out of the refrigerator and it cools it right down. And in fact, in less than about 10 minutes, it can bring this right down to temperature, and it will have your food completely frozen in an hour if you just leave the food in there. Now I set mine, this can be set in either Fahrenheit or Celsius. I set mine for 18 Celsius, which is about freezing, and that keeps everything froze on the bottom. It will keep the stuff on top nice and crisp without freezing it, like my salads and stuff like that. That's where I keep mine set. Depending on where you live, the ambient temperature, which is the temperature in the room, will have an effect on what you need to set yours at. But that's where I set mine at, is 18 Celsius, just so you know. Now, some things to know. These do have a low battery shut-off protector. You can set it on the eco mode, which is where I keep mine all the time. It will read your battery, and if it starts getting to where it might run your battery down to where it could do damage to the battery, or if you're using it in a vehicle and you don't want it to kill your battery so you could start your vehicle the next morning, it will shut off before it goes to that point. And in most cases, this uses about 40 to 45 watts. And in the 2 years I've studied it, it runs about 3 times for about 3 minutes in an hour. So figure about 10, it only runs about 10 minutes out of an hour of time. And during that time, it's only using, when it's running, it's only using between 40 and 45 watts. It depends on the ambient temperature as to how many watts it will run and how long it runs. But between 40 and 45 watts. So you can run one of these off of a very small system. And right now I have mine run off of just 200 watts of solar power and a 200 amp hour LiFePO 4 battery. That's a lithium iron phosphate battery. I did a review of that recently, of that system and the LiFePO 4 batteries on my channel. You ought to go watch that. These will run off of even just a 100 watt panel and a 100 amp hour battery. However, you might not make it clear through the night, and it may shut down. You have to recharge them the next day. But you don't have to worry about your food spoiling just because you don't make it completely through the night, because this is well insulated. It will actually hold in the temperature for a good 4 to 6 hours, depending on the outside temperature. It will just hold the temperature inside this. So if you can run it most of the night, even on a 100 watt system, you're still going to keep your food fresh. Then the next day, as soon as the sun comes up, it will start running off of the solar panel. At 45 watts, it'll run off of a 100 watt solar panel even without the battery, but you need the battery in order to get it through the nighttime cycles. Now, these will also hold, this is only a 20 liter, but I use this every day, like I said, at my cabin. And this has everything in it. I will show you the top of it here, the fruit if you want, but I've got everything in here. Frozen burritos, I've got sausage, I've got a quart of milk in here, I've got my salad dressing, I've got my beer, I've got hot dogs, I've got sausage, I've got a big package of chicken patties and a big package of hamburger in here, I've got French fries, I've got all kinds of food in here, just in this 20 liter. And this is plenty of space and size for one person or even 2 people. Now, if you've got a family that you're gonna feed, or if you want to store food for a longer period of time, because I usually go to town at least once a week, but if you want to go longer, then get one of the bigger units. And Alpicool does carry several models, anywhere clear up to a 94 liter, which is a really big unit, and they have the dual units, compressor units. The only thing about these smaller ones that I noticed with the older models, like I got here, it does not have a drain plug for draining any water out. And I've noticed that they changed that in the newer models. The bigger models have a drain plug in. So maybe they listened when I said, hey, these things should have a drain plug in and make them easier to clean. Other than that, they have a really good seal around the lid. Seals down tight, that holds in the moisture. And these will run off of either 12 volt, 24 volt, or 110 volt, which makes them really convenient. I run mine straight off of 12 volt system. They generally use a little less power because you're not converting the power from AC back to DC. The Danfoss compressor type compressor in these is actually a DC compressor. So if you're running it off of AC from an off-grid solar system, you're converting your power first to AC to an inverter and then back to DC for the fridge. So you're losing some of your power doing that. Excellent units. Like I said, I've had mine now for 2 years, more than 2 years, almost 2 years and 6 months now. And it has worked 24/7, never given me a bit of problem, always keeps the food very fresh, uses very low power, and I can highly recommend this unit for off-gridders, for people that are living in their vans, van dwellers, overlanders, and campers, or for an emergency refrigerator freezer system. Now, this is one that I really want to stress on people, that you have maybe a regular fridge and freezer, regular big fridge and freezer in your house and your grid houses. But what happens if the power goes out? A lot of your food is just going to spoil. You're not going to be able to eat it fast enough. You're going to lose all that food. If you have one of these in backup, even if you're not using it all the time, if you have one of these in backup, you can hook it up to a small solar system or even a generator. But I would recommend a small solar panel system and battery, or even from your vehicle battery. And you could keep enough of your food fresh to get you through several days of blackout. And if you have medications, which is a lot of people do have medications like insulin that needs to be kept cold, you could use one of these to keep their medications cold so they don't run out of medications during a blackout or something like that. So that is another advantage of these small units. They're also lightweight. It has 2 handles on it. They are lightweight enough that you can carry it in your vehicle. And a lot of truckers are using these now because they can run right off with their battery and they can take them with them. A lot of people that camp are now using this because they're basically like a cooler, the same size. You can take it along with you. But instead of having to buy ice, you can just use the refrigerator and run it right off of your vehicle batteries, which is really convenient. And these units, the C20s and those right around that size, they're really convenient because they're small enough you can carry them with you. You can take it into a hotel room. If you're going to be gone for a long period of time, you don't want to go out and eat at restaurants, which can get really expensive. You can take one of these along, take all your food along, and use one of these and not have to pay for going to a restaurant or something like that. So a lot of advantages of these. I will put the website link and my Amazon affiliate link in the comments down there. You can go to Amazon and pick one of these up. Go to their website, the Alpicool website, and on Amazon you can look up all the different models that they have available. They have a 15-liter model, clear up to like a 94-liter model, I think is their biggest model. And they have the new dual unit models, which are really good. All right, folks, I can put my off-gridder stamp of approval on these Alpicools. Remember, I was the first one to show you these units, and now they've taken off like wildfire, and they're being used by all kinds of people, the off-gridders, the van dwellers, the overlanders, and a lot of campers and truckers are now using these Alpicool after my review video came out. And now 2 years later, I can still tell you this unit works excellent. It's been working fine for me. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. As always, go by my website, simplesolarhomesteading.com. Get you a copy of my ebook, 355 pages, full color of all the information you need to know about living off-grid and building your own cabins. You can also pick you up a copy of any of my Solarcabin plans. I've got lots of new cabin plans on there, and all my older cabin plans are still there too. And I got a new website that works really well on phones now. So go by and take a look at that, simplesolarhomesteading.com. All right, folks, have a great day.